Planet Earth is located in a solar system that makes the Sun at its center. In our solar system there are many celestial bodies such as asteroids, the Moon and the planets that revolve around the Sun. All celestial bodies have their own orbits with respect to the Sun, as does the Earth. With the orbit that is owned by every celestial body, the planets and the surrounding celestial bodies do not collide. This orbit is formed naturally due to the influence of the Sun's gravity on these objects, and their mass differences. Then, what happens if we change the orbit of a planet? For example, the Earth. What do you think will happen? And is it possible for us to change the Earth's orbit? Because it means we have to shift the Earth. Are you curious? Why should Earth's orbit be moved? Previously you may have asked the reason why the Earth's orbit must be moved. There are several things that became one of the causes of this idea emerged. First reason, the Sun, which is the center of our solar system, is getting hotter from century to century. In millions of years the Sun will turn into a big red star. The Sun will grow bigger and bigger over time until it reaches its maximum size and brightness. At that time the Sun will explode or can swallow the Earth. But long before that happens, in the next 1 million years the temperature of the Sun will increase by 11%, and it affects the temperature of the Sun on the Earth, which can increase to 48 degrees Celsius. At this temperature increase, the temperature of the waters on our Earth will also increase and warm up. The water in our oceans will evaporate just like we put a pot of water in the Sun. As a result, all marine animals must adapt with the increase in temperature. Not all animals can survive, and the Earth-supporting particles will also partly die. What's even worse is that hydrogen, which is the most important element in the formation of cells, will inevitably leak out of space slowly. This means that if we want our descendants not to become extinct, we have to move to another planet, or maybe we have to go to another galaxy. Could humans move to another planet? But of course, if we have to move to another planet, about how much it will cost us to do this? The first thing we have to do is find a planet that can meet basic human needs. Like eating, drinking, and more importantly, the planet must have oxygen that is suitable for humans like on Earth. If only we had found a planet suitable for human habitation. How would we get there? The human population on Earth will reach thousands of millions by that time. To move all of humanity means we need a lot of spaceships. And also a lot of fuel to reach the planet. And to collect the costs and build spaceships that number in the thousands takes millions of years. Looks like this plan is ineffective. Therefore, moving the Earth's orbit. Moving the Earth's orbit is one of the most logical ways out, because theoretically, moving the Earth's orbit is possible. How to move Earth's orbit? Of course you are wondering how humans can move the Earth's orbit. Is it the same as in the movie? Maybe something like that. There are several ways that have been discovered by scientists. Using asteroids. The first way is to tie the Earth with an asteroid that has a size larger than the Earth. The asteroid can pull the Earth and move the Earth's orbit. But the question is, can the rope really be strong enough to pull the weight of the Earth that weighs thousands of millions? And if, for example, the Earth is pulled by an asteroid, is it true that this asteroid will pull the Earth to the orbit point that we have planned? What would happen if the Earth was pulled out of the solar system? That's called suicide. Because of this, scientists are looking for another alternative. Using rockets. The plan will be to release a large number of rockets to push the Earth in a specified direction. The only thing to consider. To do this, a lot of fuel is needed. The amount is more than the Earth can provide, but scientists have found another alternative. Using electric propulsion. Scientists will use electric propulsion, which is certainly more fuel efficient than boosters that use other fuels for operation. This electric propulsion works by firing charged particles that make the spacecraft accelerate. But it turns out that the thrust generated by the electric propulsion is not strong enough to push the rocket out of Earth's atmosphere. And if can, extra large and powerful batteries or energy reservoirs are required. But at this point, many scientists have created bigger and bigger batteries, so the possibility of this method can be done successfully. What consequences will happen? Moving the Earth's orbit of course requires super accurate calculations. If not, the possibility of planet Earth will be thrown away from the Sun, and the Earth's surface will be very cold. Or it could be that instead of moving away from the Sun, we actually throw the Earth closer to the Sun and are eventually swallowed by the Sun. Collision with other planets. In addition, changing the orbit of the planet Earth, if not calculated accurately, could cause the Earth to enter the orbital area of another planet so that a collision would occur. Changing time on Earth. Changing the Earth's orbit so that it is not exposed to large amounts of solar radiation, meaning we have to move the Earth's orbit further from the Sun. If the distance between the Earth and the Sun becomes further, this means that the period of the Earth's revolution, or the time it takes the Earth to go around the Sun, will be much longer. Natural disaster occurs. If we move the position of the Earth's orbit by pulling the Earth using an asteroid, the Earth will experience natural disasters such as earthquakes, due to the shaking and friction of the Earth's gravity with outer space. So in conclusion, moving the Earth's orbit has a fairly significant probability of success. But before that happens, we still have to take into account the impact that will occur on the Earth and the surrounding environment. On the other hand, we also have to think about how best to move the Earth's orbit in, so that our children and grandchildren will be able to avoid disasters caused by the Sun millions of years in the future. So in your opinion, what is the best way to move the Earth's? Tell me in the comments column.